Okay, so if you've done any research at all on fresh milled flour and making things with fresh milled wheat, you've probably heard somewhere along the lines that if you want to make a sandwich bread or a light and fluffy bread, you're going to have to use a either hard red or hard white wheat variety. That is to make the fluffy bread because those two varieties of wheat have the best capability into produce your gluten. So that's going to give you your light, soft, fluffy bread without adding any extra gluten or anything like that, of course. Well, Kamut or Khorasan Wheat, whichever way you want to say it, Kamut is technically the brand name. That's just what I call it because it's just what I've always called it. So happens to be my favorite. So I really wanted to try and see if I could make a nice sandwich bread with 100% Kamut grain. So I wanted to see for myself kind of exactly how much gluten I could get from it just by itself. I've used it in several other recipes, but I've never used all Kamut in a bread recipe that I wanted gluten to form. I will follow up with you at the end of this video and let you know my thoughts on how it works out. So let's get started. So I love to play around with all kinds of different wheat varieties and different grains and things like that so we can experience all the different flavors that they each have to offer. So I had a thought. I wonder if I take my favorite sandwich bread recipe, the one that we make every week, sometimes multiple times a week, and make it with my favorite wheat variety, which is the Kamut or Khorasan wheat, what the results would be. So come with me on this little experiment and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to be making my sandwich bread recipe with all Kamut today. I love these airtight containers and they have an amazing airtight and waterproof seal, as you can see here. And the large opening is just perfect to fit my larger measuring cups in, like this scoop that came with it. I can link these below if you want to check them out. But I'm just going to go ahead and weigh out about 480 grams, which ends up being somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 2/3 cup of whole Kamut berries. This can differ slightly for everyone. Looks like I'm going to need to refill this soon. I also just like to throw one of these food safe moisture absorbers in there for when we're traveling in humid climates and things like that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just refill this container. So yes, I travel with bulk grains, and some people might think that I'm a little bit crazy, but we love them so much and the health benefits alone make it worth it. So that's what we do. Also, I never really know when I'm going to be able to get mail or deliveries, so I like to always stay stocked up when I can, so we never run out. Also, it looks like Peanut was interested in what I was getting into today. I use these 5-gallon buckets. I just picked some up from the farm store, and they're marked as food safe, and that's pretty important. And these gamma lids that twist on here, I purchased some of these from the farm store, and then the neat colors that I have orange, green, blue, red, black, white, I don't know. But I picked some of those up at Bread Becker's while we were passing through the Atlanta, Woodstock, Georgia area a while back. So these hold my bulk storage, and then those smaller containers I was showing you hold my everyday use grains that I'm always getting into. I just wanted to show you what these Kamut berries looked like close up. They're much larger than most of the other wheat varieties out there, and they have that classic golden hue. Okay, so now that we got that refilled, I'm going to go ahead and mill my Kamut that we just measured out together. Once this is milled, it should yield me about 4 cups of flour, give or take. So over to my counter, I'm going to measure out 1 3/4 cups of water, and I'm going to warm that up in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Now we want to make sure that it isn't too hot because that can kill our yeast, and we don't want that. And I'm going to grab my mixer and pour in that warm water. Probably about 90 degrees Fahrenheit is just right. We want to be able to stick your finger in it and then not be too hot. And to that water, I'm going to add some raw cane sugar. So these little buckets I repurposed to use for my sugar and brown sugar and some of the other items that I have because they're really great for storage also, and I didn't want to throw them away, so we're recycling them. We're just going to add 3 tablespoons of the sugar. You could also use honey in that same amount if you prefer. And then I'm going to use 3 tablespoons, and you can use your favorite olive oil. And then next, we're going to go ahead and add 1 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Now, my flour that we just milled together, you can see how yellow and golden this is. Isn't it beautiful? I like to mix these ingredients in a little bit to incorporate them, and then we'll go ahead and add our fresh milled Kamut flour. You may need slightly more or slightly less than me, but I definitely prefer to err on the wet side. I like to keep my fresh milled flour bread doughs wet. I just find that it gives me a better texture in the end results. Then once I mix all the flour in, and there's no more dry flour, I like to cover and let this mixture sit for about 10 to 30 minutes. This allows time for the fresh milled flour to absorb all those liquids, because it does take longer than your conventional, regular, just white flour. Okay, now that it's been at least 10 minutes, it can go longer if you forget about it, and that's fine. Now I will just give it a little mix, and then we'll add in our 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, and then we will begin the kneading. This dough is super wet, so if you wanted to knead it by hand, it may be kind of tricky. So I kind of do recommend a mixer for this particular recipe, but it is not necessary per se. Once the dough has been kneading for a while, I checked on it, and I think you can see that the dough is super stretchy, but also that it doesn't have much strength or structure. So I guess we'll see what kind of results that this yields us. I think I'm going to call this good and just spray it with some oil, cover the dough, and then this will need to rise for about an hour or so, maybe a tad longer. We want it to just about double in size like our typical bread. Alright, and here I have my 2 4x8 bread tins, and I like to line them with parchment paper. This also creates these little handles for when the bread is done baking. I can just use those to pull the bread out of the tin like little handles. So I like to use olive oil on my hands and on my work surface. Instead of adding a bunch of extra flour to my dough, I find fresh milled flour already is on the drier side than regular flour in recipes for breads, not the same for when you're making pastries and cookies and things like that. That's completely different ballpark. But this will also help with the sticking to our hands and our work surface. It just makes it very nice to work with and a little bit easier. So this texture is kind of interesting. I kind of like it. I'm going to scoop this out and cut it in 2 pieces. So I'm going to get 2 loaves of bread, about 1 pound apiece. Hey, do you like my little mat here? I got this as a gift. Thank you! I forgot to mention to you, I will also put a link to the printable recipe down below in the description box in case you would like to try this recipe out yourself. But I'll also put a link to my regular sandwich bread recipe and the video to my regular sandwich bread recipe. That way you can compare them and see the differences for yourself. This experiment is actually so exciting for me. I'm just playing with the dough at this point to shape it because it definitely is much looser and has less strength than my normal sandwich bread. But I'm going to keep going so I can find out the results to my little experiment here. Okay, now that these 2 loaves are shaped, I'm going to cover them. And again, let them rise. And then they're going to rise for about 30 to 40 minutes or so. And then towards the end of that rise, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And looks like they're nice and risen, so we're ready to bake. I like to mist my loaves with some water. And inside my little oven here, I like to just create some steam. And these are going to bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, so they turned out okay. I thought I got a video of us slicing into these, but I can't seem to find it. But I guess here's a picture of it at least. Okay, so the thoughts on my 100% Kamut sandwich bread. The taste was amazing. It was butterier, if that's even a word. And the texture was decent. It's not like the soft and squishy, light and airy sandwich bread that I'm used to with when I use mostly hard white wheat. But I actually preferred the flavor of the all Kamut bread. But the texture kind of reminded me of my earlier breads when I was first learning how to make bread with fresh milled flour. And it had a little bit of a denser texture, kind of what it used to be like before I experimented and learned that I need to knead my sandwich bread until I get to the window pane, and that's how I know that it is ready to be rested so that I can turn it into a bread and it ends up giving me that nice squishy bread. I do have a short video on the window pane test. I'll try to put a link below for you, because that was a game changer. Once I learned how to do that, I started enjoying my bread much more. So I still think I probably will still need to put some hard white or hard red in with my Kamut, but I think I'm going to experiment a little more and try to increase the amount of Kamut that I put in each loaf. I still want to keep the gluten intact because I did notice when I was kneading, it was very stretchy, but it didn't have a lot of strength to it. So I'm sure you can tell that in the video. And when I was shaping it, it seemed much looser, so I don't think that it would make a successful freeform loaf. I think that it would make more, you would have to bake it in a bread loaf or bread tin if you wanted to make this. I do recommend you trying it. That way you can taste the flavor of the Kamut, so you understand the different flavors that each one has to offer. Thank you for following me along on this experiment, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And as always, thank you for stopping by Grains in Small Places. Goodbye.